Hi everybody, who is ready to do a quick lunchtime lunch hour craft? Just give me 1 second and we are going to get started. I've got two really cute crafts that we're going to do today. We're going to do Your Life is Your Story, and then I love this one, Well-Behaved Women Rarely Make History. So just give me 1 second and we are going to get to crafting. Gotta go find my scissors. You guys can see my video. Say hello. Say hi. Tell me where you're from, what you're doing. Coming right now. Just give me 1 second. And we are going to get crafty. I have a 4-year-old and he knows that scissors are off limits to him. So every opportunity he gets, he goes and gets my scissors. And so I have to hide them, and then I end up hiding them from myself as well. Okay. Okay. Let's get started. Can you guys see this okay? Can you guys hear me? Sometimes you can hear me, and then sometimes you can't, and sometimes it's really dark. So hopefully it's not too dark. So these are the two transfers that we are going to be doing today, and quick lunchtime craft. And I am going to be using our board and base surface for these transfers because they fit perfectly. These little A-size transfers fit perfectly on our little board and base. And I'm going to do one craft on one side, and then I'm going to flip it over, and we're going to do the other craft on the other side. So let me put this back here, move this out of the way. This is the base, and see, it's really cute because you can hold your, you can do it this way or you can do it this way. And both sides of the surface are exactly the same, so you can craft on both sides. I'm just going to move the base out of the way for right now, and let me get my squeegees. And then my different, I'm using Chalkology paste for this project, so let me grab my paste and we'll get started. I didn't update the post with the paste colors, but once we're done, because I'm never exactly sure what colors I'm going to use before I start, but once we're done, I'll go back in and I'll update it. Okay, so we're going to start with this one right here, Your Life is Your Story. Write Well, Edit Often. It's super cute. This is just a size A transfer. It's one of our smaller transfers. And this is just, I think, perfect if you wanted to make a quick little gift for somebody. So I'm trying to, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by cutting out my transfer. And you can see the transfers come with like cut lines on them. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut these out. And then we will get started. Did anybody shop the new launch today? It was like crazy. Our new starter kit launched today, and then also the rest of our winter season transfers came out. The rest of our Christmas transfers, our Hanukkah transfers, our New Year's transfers, and the beginning of our Valentine's Day transfers came out. They all launched today. When I checked earlier, a lot of things were already going out of stock, but if there's something that you saw that you wanted, don't worry, everything will come back in stock. Usually, the longest anything is out of stock is our long-term stock things, and those are usually out of stock no more than like 3 weeks. So everything always comes back in stock, but I was super excited about that because we get a sneak peek like a few days before everything launches, and it's just like by the time launch date gets here, I can hardly stand it. Okay, So what we're going to do with this one is, I think we will, I don't know, let me see how my board, we can do it this way. I think if we do it this way, it'll give us more room on it. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with this, the words down here, and then I'm going to put the 2 arrows. I'm going to crisscross the arrows, and then we're going to add a lot of little flowers and foliage in between. So I think that'll be really cute. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start, I'm going to separate my transfer. They come on these little backings, and they're very sticky. Our transfers are silkscreen, if this is your first time watching. And I saved the backing that I just peeled it off. It's kind of like a sticker when you pull it off the backing, because our transfers are reusable, so I can wash them. And once I wash them, I stick it back on my transfer, and then I will actually stick it back in here. And all the directions on what I'm doing, they come on a sticker on the back of your transfer as well. So if you think, oh my gosh, I'm never going to remember how to do any of that, directions are right there. We got you covered. Okay, so this is a brand new transfer. It's never been used before, and it's really, really sticky. So what I'm going to do is what's called fuzzing. This is just my apron that I'm wearing, and I'm just going to put my transfer on there and fuzz it. And what this does is it takes a little bit of sticky off the back, because depending on what surface you're using, if it's too sticky, if your transfer is too sticky, when you go to peel your transfer up, sometimes it can leave sticky on your surface. So you just want to fuzz it. And I just use whatever I'm wearing. I'll put it on my t-shirt, I'll put it on my jeans. I just stuck it on my apron so that I could lift it up, because I don't really want to put my leg on the table. I mean, I could if you guys really want to see it, but otherwise we'll just stick to what I'm hearing. Hi, Stephanie. The new kit, the paste colors are different, and the transfers are different. We have a lot of our new release transfers. I mean, some of the new transfers that came out are out of stock, but they are already in the kit. So whoever gets, when you sign up with the new kit, you get the new transfers. That's the big difference between the old kit and the new one, is a lot of the new release transfers are in the new kit that just came out. There's a lot of holiday and some of the Valentine's Day transfers are in there. So it's super fun. I really wish that they had an option to where, like, once you're a designer, if you wanted to go back and get the new kit, you could, because every time a new kit comes out, I end up buying like every transfer that's in there. Okay, so I'm going to start, I wish I had to turn the volume down over here. Hi, Victoria. Okay, so I'm going to start by putting my transfer. I'm just going to stick it down. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stick it in the base so I can make sure my mat is like sticky that I'm working on right now. So I'm like totally sticking to it. Usually I use this mat if I'm doing ink, and that's why it's sticky. So I'm going to put my board in the base just so I can see, because I don't want to cover up the bottom of my transfer. And then once I stick this on here, I'll just go ahead and pull it off. There. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and pull this off. And then what I'm going to do too is I'm also going to go ahead and, because I'm going to be doing 2 arrows, I'm going to go ahead and put one of my arrows down. That way I can chalk an arrow and it can dry, and then I can immediately start chalking the next one. So I'm just going to stick this kind of diagonally on here. Okay, let me get my squeegees out. Squeegees are normally this size if you buy them on the website, but I cut mine down to multiple sizes. So if I'm using like a small little area, it's just easier to use a tiny little squeegee. And these squeegees can be used indefinitely. So that's why I have like a huge stack of squeegees. Okay, so I'm going to start by doing my arrow, and I'm going to do my arrow in buttermilk yellow. And I just randomly pick some colors to use. You can do whatever colors your heart desires. So I just grabbed a bunch of colors, and hopefully they work well together. If not, because our paste is not permanent, if it's not sealed, I can always, I can go back later and just wash it off and redo it. So this one is buttermilk yellow. This is Chalkology paste, and I'm just going to cover my arrow. And you just want to cover all of your silkscreen areas. And then I'm going to peel this up. You don't want your paste to dry on your transfer, because if it dries on your transfer, it can peel your, it'll peel your, the silkscreen will actually peel it up. This is actually going to dry pretty fast, and I will actually go ahead and put my my next arrow down just so I don't have to go back and wash this really quick. So I'm going to try my best to get this lined up. You know what, I'm going to stick this right here on here so I can actually see. We have placement tape, but it's down in my craft room and I don't want to go down there and get it right now. So I am just going to use this to kind of eyeball, well, if I can get it to stay put. Okay. And I guess it doesn't need to be perfect. I just don't want it to be like totally like super crooked, because then it'll just totally irritate me. But you know what? Who cares? Let's just slap this bad boy on and we will call it good. Okay, so I'm just gonna get some more paste on my squeegee. Cover it. You just want to make sure your silkscreen area is covered up. And usually what I would do, because I'm laying this on top of my other pasted area, I would wait for it to dry. But what I am doing with this transfer is, let me wipe my squeegee off really quick. I'm going to be covering the areas where my transfer actually covers it. See right here where it just, you can see on the back side, because my paste was still a little bit wet where it peeled up. But I'm going to be covering that section right here with flowers. So you won't even be able to see right there where it pulled up. Let me put my yellow lid back on because I don't want my paste to dry out. And I'm going to use white, and I'm going to do white for down here. Just going to get some white on my squeegee. And there's no such thing as using too much paste, because if you put too much paste on there, you just use your squeegee kind of like a spatula if you were baking a cake, and then you just scrape your excess off, and you can stick your excess right back into your container. So let me pull this off so you can see how I have all that on here. I'm just going to take my squeegee and I'm just going to scrape off all of my extra, and I'm just going to stick it back in here. And because I'm using a chalkboard surface and I'm using our Chalkology paste, if I accidentally get some of the paste off the surface, it's no big deal, because I can just use a wet paper towel and just quickly just wipe it off and it'll come off, and it's not going to ruin my whole design. So I'm just going to move my dirty squeegee over here off to the side, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to peel this transfer off. And when you peel your transfers off, you want to peel them top to bottom, or bottom to top, or left to right. You don't want to peel diagonally, because sometimes that can stretch your transfer, and if you stretch your transfer, sometimes it can affect your design, and you just want to be able to use your transfer as many times as possible. And so I'm just going to stick this off to the side onto the table until I go wash it. And I'm going to lift this up so you can see. See how it looks so far? I think this is going to be really cute once it's done. So now I'm just going to start adding some different flowers. They have the different pieces right here. So I know I want to do my leaves and my vines. My little kid's called leafies, and I was just about to say it. I know I want to do my leaves. So I think I'm going to just start with some flowers, and then we have these ones too. So if you wanted to like make a daisy or like a sunflower type effect on them, you can do this as well. I don't think I'm going to do that though. I think I'm just going to move those off to the side, and I think I'm just going to add some flowers. Or maybe I should. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think? We'll just add some flowers. We'll just start with our flowers. And then the colors that I'm going to use for the flowers, I'm going to use coral, Chalkology paste, peacock blue. It's another one of my favorites. And then, let's see, Orchid. I have Orchid, and then I have Wildberry. So these are the 4 colors that I'm going to use for my flowers. So I'm just going to stick some flowers on here, and then we'll add some vines, and then this design will be done. Okay, so I'm just going to start by, I'm going to take my flowers off. I'm going to save my backing. I'm just going to stick my flowers on my shirt so I can fuzz them. I'm just going to stick these on. Make sure you guys say hello. Let me know where you're from. Comment, say hi, something. Let me know what you think of my design. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can see my shoulder. I just stuck them on my shirt. Okay, and chalk paste dries really fast. So you can see, like, this is already dry. And what's really cool about our chalk paste is it's chalk, but it dries hard. So I can't just like wipe it off. I could probably like sit here and like chip it off if I wanted to, but. Okay, so this one is coral. So I'm just going to take one of my transfers. I just want to make sure it's extra fuzzed so I don't pull up any of my other paint behind it. And I'm just going to pick a spot on here and I'm just going to lay it down. I'm going to use my little squeegee. Just put a tiny bit of chalk paste on here. You just want to make sure all of your little silkscreen areas are covered. I'll lift it up. I'm about to move this mat out of the way. This mat is like super sticky and it's really starting to irritate me. This is one of the mats that we use when we use ink. You have to put a mat in between your surfaces so it doesn't bleed. And it's sticky so it holds your fabric in place. Okay, so I'm just going to do another little flower up here. My phone is beeping at me. It was at 70% when I started this video, so hopefully Facebook isn't like sucking the life out of my phone. And then I'm just going to peel my transfer up, and then I'm just going to stick it over here in case we decide to use it one more time. What are you beeping at me for, phone? What is going on? Let me see. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, and so now, while that dries a little bit, I will get out, let's do our next flower in Orchid. So I'm going to let that dry just for a second. It's going to dry pretty quick. So while that dries, I'll get our Orchid paste. I'm just going to put it on my apron. I just want to make sure it's like really, really sticky, or really, really fuzz, not sticky. Do I have my blow dryer in here? Usually like just a really quick hit with the blow dryer, and this would be like dry in like 2 seconds. But usually like within like a minute or so, it's completely dry. So I'll just help it along. It always seems like if I want it to dry fast, it doesn't. Okay. What did you, oh, here it is. Okay, so now I'm going to stick, I'm going to hold this one off to the side. You know what, I think I am going to add a little bit of white to the back. Fuzz, sorry. Okay, so I'm going to stick this on here. And then I'm going to use my white. I'm just going to cover my little silkscreen area. And then I'm just going to go ahead and peel this one off. And then I immediately just stuck it right back down. I had enough chalk on my, or paste on my squeegee to where I was able to just pull it right off. I'm going to stick that over there. Put my dirty, oh, that's purple. Oh no, I'm going to do purple. Put my lid back on here. And the paste comes in 3-ounce jars. And depending on what size your project is, a little bit of paste goes a long way. So, I mean, you could probably get a good 15 projects out of each of these. I was about to panic because I couldn't figure out I couldn't remember where I put my transfers, but my little tiny squares are sitting on top of my I put them on my shirt, on my sleeve. Let me just blow on this for a second. I should have brought my blow dryer out. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stick my, this one I can tell is still a little bit wet, but the bottom is a little bit drier. So I'm just going to stick this one on here and just going to put it on there, and then I'm going to use my tiny squeegee again. And all of our paste, Lila's asleep right now, otherwise she would be up here in the fold helping me. All of our Chalkology pastes are also non-toxic. So if you do any kind of crafting with little ones, completely safe if they get it in their mouths. I'm just going to stick it right back down on the next one. Just getting a little dab of paste on my squeegee. Cover this up. I'm going to peel this one off, and then I'm just going to add a little bit of teal. We'll add some teal flowers, and then we'll add some of our green foliage, and then this one will be done. And like always, I will post pictures of this in the VIP. I'll post some pictures of this one, our finished project. So if you ever want to go back and reference it or look at it, and then you can. And if you need something for inspiration, and there's no like right or way to do your transfers. You can put it any way you want on your boards. Okay, so it's not my phone that's beeping, it's my other device over here that's beeping. And I'm not sure why it's beeping. It's making that dinging noise. You guys hear that? Okay, I think we need another. This one probably would have looked good with a little white underneath it. It would make the blue pop a little bit more, but that's okay. Lesson learned for next time. Okay, just gonna stick my little transfer off to the side, and then I think I will do one more. We'll do one more color. We'll do Aquamarine. It's a really pretty light blue. It's almost like the color of like the squeegee. See this pretty? Isn't that pretty? I think it's really pretty. Do I have? Okay. And then I'm going to add some, just some green leaves to it, and then this project will be done. Really cute. If I wasn't sitting here jabbering, I could probably have this done in like, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes, a quick 10-minute craft. But I start talking and then it slows me down. I'll just stick another one right in here. Oops, my transfer stuck to my finger. I didn't like push it all the way down, and it stuck to my finger. I hope I get all the silkscreen area. Okay, now I'm just gonna set this off to the side, and then we'll do our green leaves, and then this one will be done. And I'll show you how cute it looks, and then our next project we'll do is gonna be the Well-Behaved Women Rarely Make History. And I just think that one is super fun. I mean, how cute is that to sit on your desk at work, especially if you're a little bit ornery or sassy at work? I think it's just super cute, super fun. Okay, so I'm saving my backings. And then for the foliage, I'm going to use Evergreen, Chalkology Paste, and Honeydew. So just two greens. Okay, so I'm just going to stick this on here. Just a little squeegee. Put a little bit of chalk paste on my squeegee. I know this is when I probably should have put my leaves down first, but oh well. Move that off to the side, and then now I'm just going to do a little bit of honeydew foliage, and then this one will be done. Put my excess back in there, and I'm just going to peel this off. And then, oops, that's okay. This one will be done. So what do you guys think? And then it'll just sit right here in our board base. Ta-da! And then I'll take a picture of it later just to show you. So this is Your Life is Your Story. Write well, edit often. How cute is that? So I'm just going to let this dry just for a second, and then we will start on our next transfer. And this next transfer is literally going to take 2 minutes to do, and that's if I'm working like extra slow. And because I like to ombre, we are going to ombre the next one. So let me just move my little pieces out of the way. I'm gonna keep my extra pieces here that I didn't use on my mat. I'm gonna stick them back in the envelope because this is where I will put my transfer back once it's clean. Okay, so this next one is, you know what, I'm gonna flip this over so it's not sticky. You can stick over here onto the back. This next one that I guess it would help if I didn't smash everything, that we're going to do is Well-Behaved Women Rarely Make History. And this is just really fun. Put on your desk at work, or a gift to give to a coworker, or I don't know, even like if you have a teenage daughter, I just think it's, you know, it's really cute. It's a nice lesson to learn. Okay, so Well-Behaved Women Rarely Make History. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it off my backing. I save my backing because our transfers are reusable. We can reuse them up to probably about 10 to 12 times before they start to lose their sticky. And then once they start to lose their sticky, they just get a little tricky to use. But you want to do what's called defuzzing. I'm just sticking mine on my pant leg right now to take off, just add a little bit of fuzz to the back and take off some of the sticky, because depending on what surface you're using, it can sometimes it can leave a little bit of a sticky residue on the back of your transfer, and you don't want that. So I'm just going to lay it down. And I'm going to work quick. We're going to do wild berry and orchid for this one. So what I'm going to do is I am going to just get a glop of, I hear you, baby. Lila just woke up. I hear you on my transfer, and I'm just going to cover it up. And because I'm going to ombre this, I am intentionally leaving some of it uncovered. And I'm just going to scrape my excess off and throw it back into my container to use it next time. And I'm working quick because now that I don't want this to dry fast, it's going to dry fast. So I'm just going to get my excess off. I'm going to scrape it into here. Move that off to the side, and then I'm going to use my wild berry up here. I'm going to cover my whole silkscreen area because we want it all covered. And then to do the nice ombre effect, I'm just going to take my finger and just kind of like in a circular motion where the colors overlap. These colors are so close too, it might not even look like an ombre. I can't even really tell once they're on here. And then I'm going to pull my transfer up. You want to either pull top to bottom or left to right. You don't want to pull diagonal because if you pull diagonal, it can stretch your transfer. So I'm just going to pull this right off. And see, I'll show you some of my purple started to dry on the transfer. And when it dries on the transfer, your transfer can peel it up. So what I'm going to have to do is go back and redo this one. But see right here where you can see where the transfer pulled it up a little bit, it's because my chalk paste dried on it too quick. But otherwise, that's what we have. Well-behaved women rarely make history, and it sits in the baseboard just like this. Ta-da! All right, so I'm going to wash this off. I'm going to redo this one just so you can see it where it's not peeled off, and I can also wash this off properly. And then I will take pictures and post them in the VIP. So let me know what you think. If you want any of these transfers, send me a PM and just say, I saw it in the live, I want that transfer. And we will get these transfers for, let's do 10% off. We'll start with 10% for these two. If you get both of them, I'll do 20% off. This is Well-Behaved Women and Your Life Story. So just send me a PM or comment on here. Say, I saw it in the live. I want both of those transfers. And I'll get you hooked up. So thank you guys for joining me on this quick little lunch hour craft. And I am going to sign off now so I can clean up my mess and get back to work. Thanks, guys.